So welcome. How many of you are here in Nova Scotia for the first time? Show of hands. Well, my approach is to cover 500 years in 15 minutes. We know very, very little about Cabot. We know less about Cabot than we do about Columbus, actually. And much of what we do know about him was written by his son, who is somewhat not considered to be a very reliable source for some of the things that he claimed to have done. But what you see up here is probably one of the strongest pieces of documentary evidence that John Cabot was here in 1497. Now, can anyone read that script? To him that found the... It's very good. I'll make it easy for you. To him that found the new isle. The equivalent of about 10 pounds. The thing to consider about explorers is that they are constantly sort of amplifying their reports there because they're trying to raise money for the next voyage. But fishermen do not do that. Fishermen are quite circumspect. They don't like to tell people where the best fishing can be found. So we know more about the explorers of this period than we do about the fishermen. But this one, Arcadia, is interesting. I met so many Americans who refer to the French settlers here in the 18th century as Arcadians. I hear that again and again and again, but actually it's Acadians. There's no R. So there is some dispute, actually, as to the source of that name. There are sort of two dominant theories. One is that it's a native term, but the other one is that it's associated with a region of Greece known as Arcadia, sort of land of milk and honey connotations. The Basque were coming over beginning in the early 16th century, so just around the same time that Jacques Cartier made his voyage of discovery in 1534, 1535, the Basque were already whaling in the Gulf of St. Lawrence. And they were so efficient at it, they did such a great job, they basically fished out the Gulf of St. Lawrence and were gone by 1600. Extraordinary. And what's the connection with Nova Scotia? Well, they came into the Gulf of St. Lawrence, and they were not only hunting whales, they were hunting walrus. There were walrus throughout the Gulf of St. Lawrence. The Massachusetts Bay Colony, they were sending walrus hunting expeditions out from Boston in the 1640s. But de Monts was the French nobleman who received a charter, if you will, fur trading license, I guess would be the way to describe it. And this is why the French arrived here in the early 17th century, literally the first decade. Champlain is along on the expedition because he's a navigator, and he's also a rather good illustrator. And this illustration that he has done is the sole basis for the reconstruction of the French settlement it's near Annapolis Royal. It's called The Habitation, and you can visit it to this day.